Wow, what a difference a week can make in mortgage rates. So every time I come to you guys and give you mortgage rate updates, and over the last year, it's always been bad news, or most of the time. Finally, I can come to you guys with great news. So after a couple of weeks ago, reaching mortgage rates into the 8s for a national 30-year fixed conventional average, we can now tell you guys that we're finally decreased significantly. So I want to give you a little context on what happened, why, and forecast. So this week, first off, we had the Fed not raise interest rates, and potentially we think that they're done raising the federal funds rate. So reminder, they do not raise mortgage interest rates. They raise the federal fund rate, which then indirectly leads into some interest rate change. So we think that they're potentially done with this. Then what will happen into 2024, potentially probably into maybe Q3, maybe a little sooner, we're going to see them drop the federal funds rate, which would help us decrease interest rates, which is great news. The next thing that we saw was actually a pretty poor jobs report. And most people would say, well, why in the world would we want to have bad news that there's not as many jobs? Bad economic news actually leads to mortgage rates going down. As weird and crazy as that is, and I don't want to cheerlead like the economy not being good, and that's not what it's looking at. We're trying to, again, if a reminder, cure inflation, which means we need things to come back to a little bit being more balanced so that the spending overall is not as high and the goods can catch up with the demand. So again, a supply and demand. So we're seeing all these indicators of that finally happen. So when that came out on behind the federal funds rate not going up, that happened on Friday, we did see a great drop in rates. We are now seeing a 30-year fixed average national rate drop back into the lower 7s, and we're seeing FHA and VA rates into the upper 6s. A big reminder when we talk about national average rates, they are average rates for the country. They are locked on that day. That does not mean that that is a no point option or a multiple point option. It just means that is the average interest rate locked among all loans. And then everyone's interest rate is different. So the most important thing you could do is call us and get an actual rate quote for your scenario. But the great news is all interest rates have dropped a good chunk this week. Now, the next thing is you might say some buyers are saying, hey, I want to wait to buy because Stephanie just said rates are going to drop more. I'm going to tell you should not do that. We actually do anticipate when rates drop, we're going to have all these buyers that have sat on the sidelines come out and look to purchase. And what will that do? Potentially raise our home prices. So as weird as it sounds, even though we're telling you we think rates might fall more, we do think you should still look to start getting your home purchase journey done now. We have a rate protection program where we can cover a lot of those expenses to get your interest rate redone later. And then you can lock in that home price you want and the home that you actually want to buy today. So Stephanie Johnston here with the Johnson team at Service First Mortgage. Hope this rate information is helpful and so excited to bring you guys good news today. Reach out if we can provide any information in mortgage financing or an updated quote for you today. Thanks.